welcome you to the first of the 2020 presidential debates between President Donald J. Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden. This debate is sponsored by the Commission on Republicans to jam through an appointment and what you call an abuse of power. My first question to both of you tonight.
Which was heavily
Mr. President,
you would have been much later, Joe.
Mr. President,
much later. Want to give good health care.
If I may ask my question, sir.
Good health care.
The individual mandate was the most unpopular aspect of it.
Joe, he clearly doesn't get how this works.
First of all, I guess I'm debating you, not him, but that's okay. I'm not surprised. Let me just tell you something. That there's nothing symbolic. I'm getting it for so cheap. It's like water. You want to know the truth? So cheap.
Yeah. Melon,
Oh no, back row.
The coalition, the color, my brother, rock your crown. I'm here to show you the power inside the color brown. Now's the time to open up your mind to what they tried to hide from the real royalty. Open up your chakra from your brain to your feet and really realize what's inside and believe. Got God on my side and I ride with the queen. As we travel on this journey, I'ma show you what I mean when you open up your eyes. When you know what your worth is, never no surprise. Spirit of the sun, navigating stars. Times are getting better when you feel them getting hard like.
All right, so typically all the work we would go through to produce an episode about the first presidential debate, we were ready to talk policy and ideology and all of the things that these presidential candidates were going to promise that they were going to deliver over the next 4 years.
Well, I'm not sure if you watched it, but it was impossible to hear any kind of solidified thought or plan or agenda for what either party had to say about what they planned on doing, for the next 4 years should they become president.
Yeah, it was absolutely ridiculous. Now, I want to say Biden tried. He tried.
He did.
He tried. Trump just talked all over him.
Yeah.
And
he was a bully.
Yeah, he really was. And it was like, he couldn't get a thought out, so we weren't really understanding how he was answering the question from Chris. It was a mess.
It was. I will say this though, it was methodical. If he thought it through, because I know they planned. So if they planned, the Trumps, the Republican Party, if they planned and they decided that, if you don't know what to say or if he's gonna say something that might be too strong, just talk over him. It doesn't matter what you say. Because some of the stuff he was saying, guys, when Biden was talking, it was like, wait, what are you talking about, Trump?
Right.
Please,
sir, stop.
I would never say that.
Stop.
Speaking 200 feet away from it, he shows up with the biggest mask I've ever seen.
We interrupt this program to bring you breaking news live at Walter Reed Hospital, where Donald Trump was hospitalized for COVID-19. We'll take you to Dominique, who's live on scene.
Thanks for that, Justin. On Friday, October 5th, Trump was medevaced from the White House to Walter Reed Medical Center right behind me. This morning, Dr. Sean Conley, the White House physician, revealed that Trump was given 2 doses of a steroid due to his 2 drops in oxygen level since the onset of this illness. Trump will be closely monitored and is scheduled to be released from the hospital on Monday. That's tomorrow, October 5th. We'll keep you updated and keep you posted on what's going on, but as you can see, it's absolute crazy town.
Thank you for that update, Dominique. It looks like there's a lot going on out there. Can you describe what the viewers are seeing?
So, what you see out here is right along where I'm at. You've got the cameras and the media and the press and everybody set up. As you can see, we're at Medical Center Station. That's the metro station that is right in front of Walter Reed Medical Center. And as you can see across the street, you've got a lot of Trump supporters over there. I thought I saw some Biden supporters, but maybe I guess I was mistaken. So yeah, mostly Trump supporters, but something I do see over there is some masks, which I'm really excited about. I see a lot of masks over there, which is really good. There are a lot of masks over here. Obviously, you do have those that are completely still against the mask. What can you do? Back to you, Justin.
Yes, I find it crazy that people aren't wearing a mask either. But you stay safe out there, and please let us know anything new. We now return you to your regularly scheduled program.
going to
China ate your lunch, Joe.
to make sure.
Graduated last in your class, not first in your class.
Will you shut up, man?
Listen, who is on your list, Joe?
This
Who's
is
on your
so,
list?
Right, gentlemen, I think
This
we've
is
ended
so
this.
unprecedented. I want to.
What are you
It was
talking
crazy.
about?
And to think that Chris Christie and Rudy Giuliani were actually reputable people at
Yes,
one point in
at
time.
one point.
Like, they some straight suckers right now. Like, you couldn't even get your man together to have a real debate about.
Yes.
Oh, man. So, the walkaways that we can take away, I mean, almost out of the entire night, the one thing that I could really walk away from that saying that I heard loud and clear was the fact that he failed to denounce white supremacy.
That was a big one.
And militias.
Absolutely,
Like
that was a big
that
one.
was the biggest thing for me that night.
Do you want to call him? What do you want to call him? Give me a name. Give me a
White
name. Go ahead.
supremacists
Who
and
would
right
you like me to condemn?
White
Proud Boys.
supremacists and right
Proud
militia.
Boys, stand back and stand by. But
And then to wake up the next day and actually see that it's almost like that was the activation for them. They're all over social media now. They are called the Proud Boys. Part of their brand now has stand back and stand by in it. They're saying that they're excited that the President Trump.
Yes, sir. Standing by, sir.
Like seriously. Now. We keep telling y'all, Roland Martin is an awesome dude as far as
He is.
bringing this information to the forefront. I mean, he's all over it. He presented a video of the leader of the Proud Boys and really like how his psyche and how his ideology is and exactly the message that he is preaching to it. And they're literally saying, if you're not white, hurt you. We
Yeah.
preach violence. All right?
Let's run it.
Yeah.
And the Proud Boys? The Proud Boys. What's Proud Boys about?
We will kill you. That's the Proud Boys in a nutshell. We will kill you. If you're wearing a MAGA hat and some guy with a slightly punk demeanor comes up to you and says, hey, are you Sal or are you pro-Trump? Choke him. Trust your instincts. Don't listen to what he has to say. Choke him. Can you call for violence generally? Because I am.
Fighting solves everything. We need more violence from the Trump people, Trump supporters. Choke a motherfucker, choke a bitch, choke a tranny. Get your fingers around the windpipe. Get in trouble, get arrested, get fired. Let's all get in this together. They can't kill us all.
So that's crazy. That's
Right.
crazy. I don't know
Right.
about
It's scary.
anybody else, but
It's
I
scary.
am a gun owner. Okay.
I'm not.
Our
I will
people, if you're listening to Charlemagne too,
Yes.
drop another clues bomb for
Yes,
Charlemagne.
drop
like
another clues.
that's what he's preaching. If you black
Absolutely.
and you don't have a gun right now, you don't care about your
Yes,
life.
you
And that Second Amendment gives you the right to keep and bear arms if you are not a legal gun owner. If you do not have a gun purchasing permit to go get one. If you do not have a firearms license to carry a concealed weapon or to possess on your premises, then I have to say to you, it's possible you don't love yourself. You are black in America, a minority in America. Owning a legal firearm is a form of self-care.
Now, I'm not saying that I believe that. I'm not saying I believe that because I do know some of us are against guns. You know, I do get that.
I was one of
But
those
what I'm
people.
saying is we have to protect ourselves.
Absolutely.
Now, hopefully, before it even goes down this road, just based off of this, we can see how important the
It
vote
is.
is
Yes,
now,
guys.
right?
Yes.
If everybody goes out and vote, it's no
It's a
issues, no issues,
landslide.
because Biden is going to listen to the FBI. The FBI is already calling the Proud Boys a domestic terrorist threat. All right. So if Biden goes into office, that'll be handled, hopefully, or at least it won't be condoned
Right,
at the very
right.
least.
At the very least, it won't be condoned. I
Right.
think that's the point because we know. I think we all know these people existed. It's not like they came out of their crevices when Trump came out, or they came up with these ideas when Trump came around. Right? These people have already been living amongst us. It's good to see who they are now, but once we vote Biden in, then we can maybe get a black guy in or a woman in or whoever, whatever our desires are. If we want health care for all, I know that's a big one for us.
Especially in COVID-19 times.
Right. Trump, I don't know if you guys know this, but right now, Trump is fighting to take away thousands, hundreds of thousands of, I think it's millions at this point, millions of people on health care. He's fighting that in the Supreme Court. And if you're paying attention, he just got another Supreme Court justice on the court. I mean, on the bench.
She was nominated.
Right. She was nominated. She's not in yet. Yeah, she's not confirmed yet.
But here's the deal. She would seal the deal, and while we can't speak absolutely, it almost looks like she would be the deciding factor in overturning Roe versus Wade.
Yes.
So, like, I know that Black movement is really big right now, and I don't want to take away from that. I know there's a lot of talk about everybody trying to take this light. Really, it's about humanity, right?
Absolutely.
And women are just as important right now. I mean, you've always been important. Queens, you've always been important. But seriously, if you want to be able to tell what happens to your body, you got to vote, right? So at least we have some part of this, what do you call it, trilogy of a system that we have in our favor, which would be the Democratic favor. Because if Trump wins again, it's like all three parts, I believe, are all Republican.
Well, we don't know because we're waiting on the Senate. Right now, the Republicans have the Senate, but they're voting on that in this election.
Right, okay.
We got to see that. And right now, the Republicans are in lead. You know what I mean? We're losing a lot of the Senate places where we were trying to get Democrats in there so we could flip it and maybe possibly not lose our right to have an abortion should we choose that that's right for our body. You know what I mean? Like, so this vote matters, guys.
It really does.
Really matters.
This is probably
The
most
biggest-
monumental
yes.
vote that we will have,
Yes.
and quite possibly, if you have a child 10 or older, the biggest election of their life.
Absolutely.
Like,
Remember, these appointments permanent for the rest of their lives.
for the Supreme Court, yeah,
Yes.
exactly. So that's crazy.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I want y'all to take a look at this graphic that says that Biden he won the first election. He won the first election by a wide margin, right? Do not get that confused because this next graphic says that not too many people have changed their mind. Well, it's only 2% that have changed their mind. So understand this. There's a lot of people who understand and see that Trump is a menace and he's a bully and that, but they're not changing their mind on it. They're still gonna go vote for him. So what that means is, okay, so something new that I just found out, everybody's talking about this 20%, the mid-20. What that really means is there's 40% that's voting one way, 40% that's voting another way, but there's 20% that's not voting, right? So what needs to happen, if these 40%, if nobody's changing their mind, then the 20% that is not registered to vote or not planning on vote, that means you need to vote and you need to come on, I don't want to say the Biden side, but seriously, I don't care who you vote for after this. This time, y'all need to vote for Biden. And I don't want to project my ideology. I'm just saying, I can't
Civil rights are literally on the line.
I don't understand how you can
not see it. Civil rights are on the line, guys. That's basically what we're trying to say. And if you don't vote, or you decide, I'm going to just vote independent then. I'm going to support somebody that is neither party. You can't do that because you take votes away from Biden, and that inevitably gives Trump that edge. That's why he was able to win over Hillary, even though Hillary technically won.
And just think about this real quick. The way that Trump has acted when he got in,
right,
the stuff that he's done,
right,
possibly knowing he has a second term. So he can't just let loose because he know now after this, if he wins this, it's over. So he's gonna pull all the stops and he's gonna unleash, well, not like havoc isn't already unleashed.
Right.
But it could always be worse.
It could get worse. It could get worse. All of that aside, racial tension aside, right? In 2016, when you guys voted Trump in,
or did not vote at all,
or decided not to vote, that was a time where I was like, you know what? I could understand why the vote was split so hard. Because
I could understand it too.
Honestly, I almost went that way with Trump. However, or before I say however, it was only because I felt like he was a good businessman. He knew what he was doing with money.
Believed the lies.
The number 71 he refers to is from the Forbes 400 list. Donald is the 71st richest person in the world with a net worth of $2.5 billion.
We believed all of the lies he fed us about how wealthy he was, all of the different properties, not knowing all of that stuff was in forbearance or he was going bankrupt or whatever it is going on with his taxes. Millions of dollars he owes in taxes, guys.
431 million.
I know one thing. They ran credit checks before I became a State Department employee. long ago. And if I had any kind of debt that would entice some kind of foreign operative to reach out to me and offer to pay that debt off, I would be a threat to national security. This is huge.
That's all Comey's been preaching this whole time. And, you know, I do definitely want to talk about that, but I don't want to take away from the light of the election.
Yes.
But this is a person who has inside dealings with, and maybe in the beginning you were like, I don't really know which way to go. I know a lot of people were upset and felt like he cost Hillary the vote. We understand that. But there is so much documentation out that's true now. He literally would walk out of meetings or get off phone calls with Trump and write the stuff down. So this is not fiction that we're talking about. And it really shows you who Trump really is on the inside. Stuff that nobody's telling you about. He's lying to the public. And I don't know how people are believing it. And this is exactly why we're saying, regardless of party affiliation, Black Republicans, I am pleading with you. Listen, I don't know what you think the Democrats is going to do to your or are going to do to your ideologies or whatever. We can fix that later. There will not be a republic here to pick a side after this 4 years. I don't know how. I
don't think anybody wants a civil war, is what he's trying to say.
And that's what's happening, or that's what will happen.
That is what he's enticing.
I'm not going back to slavery.
No.
Well, not that I was in it, but I'm not a Kanye West. It's not. If you want to say that it's a choice, it's a no for me, dog. Like, I'm sorry.
And I will go down fighting for it.
Oh, most definitely.
Okay?
Yeah, like, this is one thing I would die for.
This is why we're imploring you to go use and exercise your Second Amendment right. Please, I implore you, please. I plan on it. He is already a gun owner. I am definitely getting my mom registered. Neither one of us wanted a gun in the house, okay? And she's ex-military. So for us to go out and actually actively pursue this is a big thing.
It really is.
Here's my critique of the debate, all in all. I can kind of understand why people are like, oh, I'm not going to Biden. I feel like Biden needs to pick it up a little bit. You know, his strength. He just needs to show a little bit more assertiveness when he talks. It's almost how he says his words. You know what I mean?
The tax code that made him, put him in a position that he pays less tax than a school teacher on the money a school teacher makes.
I do want to touch on that, though. So I definitely understand what you're saying. I just want to tell you people out there who may think that Biden is weak, understand this. And I understand that he's a white man and I'm a black man, and the way that we deal with situations are totally different. It would have been interesting to see how Barack Obama would have handled that situation. But me personally, I would not have had that strength that Biden had to handle that. He said clown. He said, would you shut up?
He did.
I might have had profanity. I don't know. You know, I've been going through.
You wouldn't have been profane.
I don't know. I don't know.
Been.
That was complete and utter disrespect.
It was. But you expect that from Trump, right? You already know this is coming, is my issue, right?
Okay.
We know this is coming from this man. This is no surprise. We know that maybe he might have taken it up a notch, right? In the beginning, in 2016, you didn't really know what you were doing. You've been in the office. You still don't know what you're doing, but you've been in the office for a while now, so you've been coached. You know how to, quote unquote, be presidential, or you know how to expect the presidential out of other people. So you know that this person is not going to get out of character like you are. So you've got the advantage in that sense, right? So Biden should have just been, I don't know. I felt like, I don't know. There was not much he could have done in this situation.
Yeah, I don't know. He did the best. Honestly, he did the best.
He did. He called him the worst president in the world.
You're the worst president America has ever had. Come on.
That might have been the most unrefuted, undeniable fact that was spit that
all
whole
night.
Yeah, so okay.
What about you?
So if nothing else was other than that being passionate, there was nothing else that was like really passionate that really grabbed me. I know they talked healthcare, and we already went over that a little bit. What else?
They spoke about Black America for a minute and 30 seconds.
Oh, so check this out. So with that, Friday before, so last Friday, Trump goes and he declares this platinum plan. Shout out to my brother for bringing that to me, Steve. You're amazing.
The platinum plan.
Yeah. So I took a look at it, and it's at the end of the day, it's just all more lies. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted to go point by point, and I really wanted to be open-minded to it. But after you activated the white supremacy, there's no way, there's nothing that you can say right now that would make me believe that you have Black America best interest in heart at all. So I don't even want to go into that, but I do want to say that we acknowledge that he's trying to pander to
Black America.
Black America.
For the black vote.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the same thing that all politicians do.
All right. But let's be clear about what it is, though, right? Trump has been in office for 4 years. He has not offered us anything. All he did was work on taking away your health care. And still has not come up with a plan on how he was going to replace it. That was another thing that he didn't mention in the debate. They asked him several times, what was his plan going to be to replace it?
You, in the course of these 4 years, have never come up with a comprehensive plan to replace Obamacare. And just this last Thursday, you signed a largely symbolic executive order to protect people with pre-existing conditions 5 days before this debate. What is the Trump healthcare plan?
There's nothing symbolic. I'm cutting drug prices. I'm going with favored nations, which no president has the courage to do because you're going against big pharma. Drug prices will be coming down 80 or 90%. I'll give you an example. Insulin. I'm getting it for so cheap, it's like water.
He had nothing. Well, the man has no plan.
For him, it's all egotistical, right? And Barack Obama said, the one thing that I am going to implement before I leave is affordable health care for all, which he did. So now, they had a back and forth for that entire 8 years almost. So now that he actually became president, he said, I just want to undo the one thing that Barack Obama actually was able to get through. Yeah, he is.
You're going to go down in history as a sucker.
Yeah. So he lied about his taxes, and he lied on the stage. It's clear. Check out the New York Times. I don't know if we can throw just like the front of the article up. But so he only paid $750 for 2 years and paid no taxes for 10 of the last 15 or prior 15 years to him becoming the president. Right?
You paid more taxes than him.
Absolutely. And he's telling you he paid millions of dollars. I don't know why they don't have fact checkers. And that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to be able to come here and objectively tell you Biden do.
Fact or fact. There was no way to hear anything. Nobody could really produce a solid thought or fact to fact check.
Right. So, but
it was bickering.
Yeah. So all of his businesses have failed. I mean, I guess we keep saying it, but the common denominator here is that he's a consistent pathological liar. And for those of you who are support white supremacy, I understand. We can deal with that when we get there. I'm not talking to y'all. But you other ones who are just voting for Trump for sake of the Republican Party or for sake of this tax break that you might have, if you have any decency in your soul, what we're doing is we're pleading that you do go vote for Joe Biden.
Yes. We're being explicit
episode
about it.
After episode after episode. Unenthusiastic vote. But that's who we got.
That's where we're going. We can talk about where we're going from there after November 3rd, right? Let's just get this occupant out of the White House. I think nobody's looking forward to the next debate, but they did mention that they were going to start cutting mics.
They need to.
They were giving 2-minute timestamps for your response. And as you can see from the clips, that Trump was not having it. At some point, Chris Wallace had to tell him, listen, your side agreed to these terms.
Right. Mr. President, your campaign agreed that both sides would get 2-minute answers uninterrupted. Well, your side agreed to it, and why don't you observe what your campaign agreed to as a ground rule, okay, sir?
And it was just because it was literally a waste of the American people's time. Because literally, like we said, there was nothing found from that. So this time, the next debate will be a little bit more productive. Fingers crossed.
So here's my issue with that. You cut off Trump's mic. he's still talking to Biden.
Yeah.
He's still talking to the moderator.
That's true.
It's just good on our ears.
That's
you know what I'm saying?
true.
So all we're gonna see on TV is,
well, guess what? You better get your stuff together right now. Biden needs to be training with his people, with somebody in his ear yelling, because guess what? That's where the stage is at. You got to know who your opponent is.
I like that. We'll try to bring up any updates as it's coming. The vice presidential debates is October 7th. So we definitely will have something to say, some substance there.
Absolutely.
Because we know Pence ain't yelling. If anybody's yelling, it's Kamala. Yeah, but hopefully we've all learned our lesson from Trump now. So
and she's
Kamala,
not that type.
go in there, do us proud.
Yes, represent us. Represent us well.
For the team.
Yes.
I don't know.
It's not
and
a hard
then,
opponent.
Like we said, on the second one, we'll be right back at you with the second presidential debate. So, as always, we thank you for coming back for another episode of Coalition of Color. We can't overstate enough how, you're going to hear it week after week. You have to go vote. We have to do something together. But in the meantime, if you like what we're doing, if you want to support the coalition, please
guys,
subscribe, share, comment. Throw on the notifications so you know when we're dropping a new video. We have a Cash App if you would like to do a monetary donation. Cash App, $, the Coalition of Color. Until next week, rock your crown.
Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to?
Politicians do.
Right.
You didn't know.
Yeah, a little bit, but let's.
Thank you for that update, Dominique. It looks like there's a lot going on out there. Can you describe briefly what?
On Friday, October 2nd, Trump was medevaced from the White House to... It's crazy out here. Crazy.
We interrupt your... Oh,
You better ask that question, Chris.